Cary, North Carolina sits just about a half hour from the epicenter of American women's soccer. And today, it plays host to the very best the United States has to offer. The U.S. women's national team, ranked #1 in the world, facing off against a South Korean squad on the rise as both teams continue their build-up to the sport's main event, the 2019 Women's World Cup. Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the U.S. women's national team. We are coming to you live from Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina, as the U.S. plays South Korea, ranked 15th in the latest FIFA rankings for the second time in just 4 days. Alongside U.S. International World Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist Julie Foudy, I'm Sebastian Salazar. It is great to have you with us. Let's set the scene here for the folks at home. It is 2017, but we got to go back to 2016. The U.S. crashing out of the Rio Olympics before the medal round. That turned this year, Julie, into a rebuilding year, a year of experimentation. Where is the manager, Jill Ellis, in terms of that approach and that build-up to the next World Cup?
Jill Ellis has said that was a wonderful phase. I looked at a lot of players, but now we're turning the page. So now they're focused in on, okay, we've got qualifiers for the World Cup in a year. So lasering the focus for sure with this U.S. women's national team.
The U.S. has played 6 teams in FIFA's top 10 rankings throughout 2017. You think that's tough? The 2018 and 2019 schedules are even more difficult. It starts next spring, Julie, with the She Believes Cup.
Yeah, they got the She Believes Cup. Then they have the Tournament of Nations again in the summer of 2018, all leading, of course, to the qualifying, which will happen in fall of 2018. Assuming, for the moment, that they do qualify.
And we know you can't assume anything.
Cannot assume anything. We know that here in the United States now. Is the Women's World Cup in 2019 in France. That is the big goal, of course, for 2019.
The United States will be looking for a repeat championship in France. A big part of that picture for the U.S. figures to be Julie Ertz. And Julie, that's where we're going for the subject of our Continental Tire Analyst Corner.
And this has been, I think, one of the key changes in this experimentation this year was putting her, Julie Ertz, in that center holding midfield position, because she has not only brought energy, she's brought goals. And she has been all over the place. Second on the team with 4 goals, some beautiful finishes this year, but she's been ball winning defensively, scoring offensively, and really at critical moments against Brazil was the first time they tried her there. That changed the game when Julie Ertz got into the middle of the field, and I would argue changed the team this year as well.
Ertz with 12 international goals, including the one she scored Thursday night in the 3-1 victory over South Korea. When we return, the starting lineups for both sides, plus the opening kickoff between the U.S. and South Korea. We are just 8 days removed from the 2017 NWSL Championship Final between the Portland Thorns and North Carolina Courage. Game played down in Orlando City Stadium in Florida. Sam Mewis ringing one off the crossbar, a la Carly Lloyd in the first half. The game-winning goal coming just after halftime from Lindsey Horan of the Portland Thorns, as the Thorns and head coach Mark Parsons celebrate a title, the organization's second in the brief history of the National Women's Soccer League. Horan's game-winning goal coming in the 50th minute. For her efforts, she was named NWSL Championship Game MVP. Horan will find herself in the starting 11 tonight for the United States. It'll operate out of a 4-3-3 under the manager, Jill Ellis. There you see the 4 highlighted players who all took part, Julie, in that NWSL final just a week ago.
And you also see Sofia Huerta on that right side getting her first start in only her 3rd cap with the national team. And of course, Alex Morgan, 13 goals in her last 14 games for club and country. She has just been on a tear for the United States.
Of course, they'll be under the direction of Jill Ellis, took over the program in April of 2014 after the dismissal of Tom Sermani. She was the 2015 FIFA World Women's Coach of the Year. Here's a look at South Korea's 11, a 4-1-4-1 under head coach Yoon Duk-yeol.
And you'll see those 6 highlighted players, all 6 of those have 10 or fewer caps. So talk about changing the generation.
Duk-yeol taking over this South Korean program in 2013, got them qualified for the 2015 World Cup in Canada, where they advanced beyond the group stage into the round of 16. We're underway here at Cary, North Carolina, the United States in their classic all-whites, with blue trim on the shoulder, moving right to left across your screen. South Korea in the all-reds, going left to right. Sofia Huerta puts it in play. Star player for the Chicago Red Stars, but Julie really much more of an attacking presence, her role in the National Women's Soccer League. Here, being deployed as a right back.
Another indication that Jill Ellis still searching for that outside back position. She does play on a wing and more attacking role, as you said, with the Red Stars, but said, I want to give her a go. She defends well, she gets forward well. Give her a try at that outside back position. And Kelly O'Hara picking up a knock, a little bit of a knock before actually Thursday night's game. So they're just being precautionary with her.
Alex Morgan under pressure, able to elude it for a second before earning the foul. And a set piece coming for the United States. Julie Ertz will play it back to Becky Sauerbrunn. Her pairing with Abby Dahlkemper in the center of defense for the United States has proved fruitful of late. Sam Mewis now on the ball. Dahlkemper plays right here in this stadium for the North Carolina Courage. Their first year in North Carolina after moving south, previously known as the Western New York Flash. Coming oh so close to a repeat championship last weekend in Orlando. Lynn Williams, another North Carolina Courage player, getting her first touch on the ball. So U.S. cycles it back through their defense. Sauerbrunn with an acre of space. She'll launch a left-footed ball over the top, looking for Kristen Press. Press in behind. Confusion at the back for South Korea, and the United States will earn their first corner kick of the match.
And a good early look at how South Korea is going to face this game. They're going to just sit in with numbers, and this is going to be one of the areas they're going to try and find a little success. If they can't break it down on the dribble, getting in behind them over the top.
Dahlkemper set to offer service from the near sideline. Well-driven ball to the back post, header down and in! A North Carolina Courage connection! Dahlkemper to Sam Mewis, and it's 1-0 USA!
How you leave a Sam Mewis wide open on that back post and let her get goal side is beyond me, knowing how good she is in the air, but that's what happens. Losing your mark, Mewis wide open, she's not gonna miss from that distance, that wide open, and there's the challenge when you bring in a young team, as South Korea has done. We highlighted it in the open with their roster, 6 players with 10 or fewer caps. It's the little things. That was a big thing.
More pressure here from the U.S. as they set their line high up the field. Mewis hacked down about 35 yards from the South Korean goal. Set piece forthcoming. The United States opened the scoring on Thursday against South Korea, also from a corner kick. It was Julie Ertz at the near post doing the damage then. Sam Mewis at the back post just seconds ago. 6 targets in or around the area for Abby Dahlkemper. Dahlkemper driven to the spot. Unconvincing clearance. Now steered away by Jang Sul-gi, the right back for South Korea. One of the better players in this up-and-coming program. Casey Short out of the left back spot wins the ball for the United States. Lindsey Horan will open it up to Sofia Huerta. Horan sitting in a pocket. Spins out of trouble to Casey Short. Short, one-on-one. Good defensive win by Zhang.
Another look at the goal on that backside. Mewis just wide open. I mean, if you've scouted this team, you know Ertz and Mewis. And look at this angle. Right around her. You got to get a body on that if you're South Korea. You got to get in between the player and, of course, your goal. You always want to be goal side there. Just way too easy for Sam Mewis.
Mewis' 6th international goal. She chipped in 6 goals and 3 assists this season for the North Carolina Courage, as she was named NWSL Best 11. Lynn Williams digs it out of the corner to Huerta. Mewis now atop the box, lays it off for Ertz, pressure from behind. Ertz will maintain possession. Big switch from Dahlkemper. Perfect ball to Short. United States dominating possession in the opening minutes here in Cary, North Carolina.
And a great first 6, because not only do they get the goal, but when they lose the ball, you're seeing a team in the United States that's turning and putting pressure on the ball. Those front 3, I mean, that's the beauty of that 4-3-3 with the 3 forwards, putting pressure on the ball defensively as well.
Williams to Mewis. And that nearly bobbled its way across the line as the Korean goalie, Kang Gae, mishandled it with Alex Morgan applying the pressure.
This is one of the challenges, too, that we knew with the South Korea team. They have Kong with 8 caps internationally, their goalkeeper, and they have another one, Kim Min-jung, with only 1 international cap. And who they left at home was Kim Jung-mi, 2 Women's World Cups under her belt, 33 years old, really the veteran of the group. But again, as we said earlier, this is a team that wants to try and get in that next generation. They want to shift over to younger players. I get that. But these are some of the bumps of that shift.
His South Korean team just survived Asian Cup qualifying. Get back to that in a moment as Williams drives toward the heart of the South Korean defense. Ball cleared, but only to Mewis. She's in a fight now. One that Sofia Huerta will come clean up. Huerta driving to the end line, ball across the press. And there'll be a goal kick, South Korea.
Another good sign for the United States is when their outside backs get engaged in that offensive third. Here, Huerta on this side. You saw earlier Casey Short on the other side. What a good ball in by Huerta.
As I mentioned, Julie, the South Korean squad just came through a very difficult Asian Cup qualifying group that included North Korea. 10 of the players from that Asian Cup squad have been left at home to bring in some of the younger players you're talking about. So in many ways, just like the United States is in a transition, South Korea going through the same thing. Sauerbrunn to Short. Tried the one-time ball in behind for Morgan, but it was cut out by Zhang. Sauerbrunn roaming forward. Lindsey Horan, fresh off that championship MVP performance for the Portland Thorns. Mewis dropping deep. Her pass cut out. Here comes Korea.
Her pass trying to get to Horan, who made a really good run out of midfield. And when you have so many players in that midfield, as South Korea is doing, they're dropping their front line, they're pressing their back line high, so they literally have 10 players in about a 20-yard band across the field here. That midfield becomes quite chunky in the middle.
I don't want to bring up any bad memories, but it reminds me a little bit of Sweden in Brasilia.
Right.
Summer of 2016.
And that game in the Olympics, of course, was a turning point for Jill Ellis as well, because she said, what I realized from that game is we need more players that can break down that pressure and that bunker.
South Korea, nice combination play to break the American pressure. They'll advance it through Lee Gu-min. Jun Gaul on the ball, one-on-one with Short. Jun onto her right foot, blasts a shot, but Short up to the task, and look, the hustle from Alex Morgan to deny the corner kick. South Korea team proved dangerous Thursday in New Orleans, creating a bevy of chances late in the first half, including the goal that made it 2-1.
Yeah, we know.
At halftime.
We know they can shoot from distance. That was a beauty of a strike.
That strike with some Han Chae-rin. She's in the starting lineup again today for South Korea.
He also had a beauty of a strike from Ji So-yoon, who's not in the starting lineup, who plays for Chelsea, the only player on this team for South Korea that plays outside of South Korea. Plays with Crystal Dunn over in Chelsea, and great little player, which I'm sure we're going to see a bit of today as well.
She pours in boatloads of goals for Chelsea. Plays a forward or a number 10, really effectively the class of this South Korean program. Short mistimes her jump. But no threat for the U.S. Dahlkemper now, looking deep over the top. Second ball won by Lindsey Horan. Alex Morgan leaves her pass short. But the brute physicality of Julie Ertz wins out. For the long ball to Kristen Press. The front three, Morgan, Press, and Williams, all coming off strong seasons, Julie, in the NWSL.
And how about having to handle those three? I mean, they all bring something so different. But Williams, you know, with her pace, when she came in on Thursday night, getting in behind. Press, just so lethal in front of goal, just needs a half chance. And then Morgan, 13 goals in her last 14 games for club and country. And that's coming off, we should note, an 8-game goal-scoring drought with the national team, and then that all changed in August when she scored against Japan. And boy, has she not stopped since then.
Goals in each of her last 4 appearances for the United States, 9 in her last 12 matches for the Orlando Pride this NWSL season. So Morgan coming in hot.
And it's great to see a healthy Morgan. I mean, that's always been her issue with these little injuries and knacks and bumps and hasn't been 100%. So to see her healthy and confident is great to see.
She, of course, played a big chunk of this season with Lyon in the French league. Suffered through some injuries there before coming back to the National Women's Soccer League.
And amazingly, she has never scored in North Carolina. So I know that's sitting in the back of her mind today.
Really? You think she's got a map of the U.S. and she's just ready to cross it off?
She's
that
like,
big red
okay,
Sharpie?
that one?
Center backs for the United States given a lot of room to operate here. Dahlkemper, again, trying to go long. No chase there from the U.S. forwards. 1-0 through 14 minutes of play here in Cary, North Carolina. The goal coming for the United States in the 3rd minute off a corner kick, courtesy of Sam Mewis. I asked Mewis yesterday what her time in the NWSL had meant to her. She said, simply put, without it, I'm not here.
Yeah.
And there's probably quite a few players in this pool now that could say the same thing. Kristen Press in behind, but the flag is up. She's offside.
Yeah, let's go through that list, actually. So Sofia Huerta at outside right back. I mean, she doesn't get a look unless she's excelling as she has been, I think, in the NWSL. Lynn Williams is another one. Casey Short. I mean, you go down that list. I mean, that's the beauty. Dahlkemper. That's the beauty of the league.
Jill talked about it yesterday. The goal for 2017 was to really deepen the talent pool. I don't think there's any way you can judge the work they've done in 2017 and say that that goal hasn't been accomplished.
Absolutely. And you run through different formations. We saw the 3-back formation. That didn't go over so well. But
I was going to say, why you got to bring that up, Jay? Come on.
You learn that in the process of experimentation.
Although Jill mentioned yesterday, there's a chance we could see the 3-back depending on game situations in the future. You're down a goal.
Absolutely.
You're down a player.
And I would argue it wasn't the 3-back. It was your choice of personnel in the 3-back, of course.
That was at the She Believes match against France at RFK. France won 3-0. The U.S. playing in that 3-back, and I thought for sure that was the end of the 3-back there. United States looking much more comfortable. Playing with the standard 4 across the back. Here's one of them, Casey Short. Down to the end line. Great sliding challenge at the last second from Jang Sul-gi. Second corner kick of the match coming up for the United States.
So as we said earlier, the two people you know, there's a lot of targets, but you definitely want to get a body on Mewis. You can see them on that back far post, that clump of players.
Ball driven to the spot. Williams, the snap down header. Touch save from Kang Gae.
And you can see they actually had to grab Mewis to try and bring her back, but there's Williams getting a good look on it as well. I mean, this is going to be a challenge for South Korea all game, these set pieces, because the United States just has so many good weapons in the air.
Corner kick driven low. It's Williams again. But for a late deflection, that may have been goal bound. Instead, we go for a third straight corner kick. It'll be Dahlkemper to serve again from the near sideline.
There you see that clump again in that backside, and this is where they're just tussling. Mewis is trying to get an angle. Haran is in there.
Dahlkemper lofts one high. It's Mewis headed down. And Kang Gae gathers for South Korea.
And another target, Haran, bounces her player off her, uses a little shove, a little love pat.
Dahlkemper, half clear, half long ball. It's gonna fall right to Lynn Williams. She turns on the Jets. Back to the spot, press, back to goal. Christian press! Deflected out for another corner kick.
And here's what Lynn Williams brings to a game. If you can free her, she turns that back line with her pace. She can get in behind. I think the challenge for Lynn Williams then is in the final delivery in that final third. That's going to be the next evolution of her game, is that cross, that shot she's getting on goal, because we know she's got the pace to get in behind.
Dahlkemper right to that same spot, over Haran to Mewis. That won't be too much trouble for Kang Gae. Williams, the 2016 NWSL MVP and Golden Boot. She followed that up with 9 goals and 5 assists this year for the North Carolina Courage. Was 24 years old, too, Julie, so her future very much ahead of her. Mewis, so calm under pressure, finds Dahlkemper. Quickly to Huerta. Sofia Huerta. First player ever from the state of Idaho to earn a cap for the United States. Williams with a cross, only half cleared by South Korea. Mewis looking for Short. What a ball. Can Casey catch it? Yes, she can. Drops it for Haran. Well-driven ball to the heart of the box. Kang Gae the touch. And Mewis make it 2. Sam Mewis firing up the home crowd and giving the United States a 2-0 lead over South Korea. There's nothing she can't do.
And here's one way to beat that bunker. You have the quick switch to the opposite side with Short getting in and then the driven ball in. But what a finish by Mewis. If you're going to clear this as a goalkeeper, you got to clear it high and wide, because this is what happens when you don't. And good for Mewis, coming off the tears I saw in her last week from the disappointment of losing that final, the NWSL final, to scoring 2 goals here at home for the United States in front of her home crowd.
How about her post-match interview?
When I said, what are you most looking forward to for next year?
Winning.
Winning.
Winning. I mean, you could tell the laser focus. She talked about it yesterday. You know, she said, the coach of the North Carolina Courage, Paul Riley, always says there's no finish line, and you really got that sense in that interview. There is no end to the team. There is no end to the season. There's only kind of the continued pursuit of excellence.
And to your point with Lynn Williams being 24, Mewis 20, what is she, 3, 5? Let me check my notes. Help me out, Seb. But that's a young team in North Carolina.
25, Samuels.
25,
yeah.
Thanks, I got it the second time. It's a young group. It's a young group that's hungry too.
Well, and there's competition. And that's the other thing that Jill Ellis was hoping to create in 2017. Real competition based on your form in the National Women's Soccer League. And that's really a first for this program, Julie. Jill Ellis went to the players at the end of 2016 and said, you will be judged on your play in the league. And that puts a real importance on those games in the NWSL. Sauerbrunn, Ertz, Dahlkemper. The U.S. owning possession through the opening 20 minutes in Cary, North Carolina. Mentioned at the top of the show, this South Korean team ranked 15th in the latest FIFA rankings. They've qualified for the Asian Cup. It's an 18 tournament. The top 5 teams qualify for the 2019 World Cup in France. Korea certainly a favorite to be in that group of 5.
You mentioned earlier North Korea getting grouped with South Korea in that preliminary round. And only one was going to get through that group. And you say, well, why is South Korea and North Korea in the same group together? Because you had Vietnam winning their group, the Philippines got through, and teams that you wouldn't traditionally maybe see winning their group. And it's because North Korea, of course, wasn't seeded because they hadn't played in the last World Cup. They hadn't played in the last Asian qualifiers because they had been suspended for testing positive for some use of performance-enhancing drugs. And that's why it came down to, in North Korea, South Korea had to get through that group. I mean, talk about setting soccer back in your country if you don't, with the Women's Pro League in South Korea and all they've invested in it.
And that match was played in Pyongyang, a 1-1 draw that was good enough for South Korea to end up winning the group on goal differential. Coming up next, right after this match, it's decision day in Major League Soccer. The last day of the regular season, we'll have live look-ins of the best matches and all the games with playoff implications. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN. Also, you can catch it streaming live on the ESPN app. Of course, all the playoff spots in the Eastern Conference decided. Out west, still one spot up for grabs. Big collision on the near sideline. Last touched by Casey Short. So says our center referee, Sheena Dixon of Canada. Jang Sul-gi to take the throw in. They deploy her as an outside back, but those who know this team say she may actually be one of the better attacking players in the group. Very young at just 23 years old, one of the top prospects in South Korean women's football. Mewis to Dahlkemper. A couple North Carolina Courage players who will know this stadium and these fans well. Great crowd here today. I don't really see too many empty seats. I bought a couple tickets for friends like 2 hours before the game, but They told me there was hardly anything left, so close to a sellout, if not a sellout, here in Cary, North Carolina.
You really bought 2 tickets for friends? I can't let that go. That's so cute, Sam.
I mean, you know, old buddy from college.
You're supporting U.S. soccer. I like it.
Goal scorer from Thursday night, Han Shae-rin on the ball. Lee Min-ah drops it back. Now she'll receive it, facing up against the American defense. One-time clear from Casey Short. Han Shae-rin, left-footed service towards Dahlkemper, who brings it down with Ertz. And Dahlkemper will clear. You know, we don't all have the hookups like you do, Julie.
I'm still on it, actually. I'm giggling over here. Hitting my talk back while giggling. It's brilliant. I love it.
South Korea enjoying a brief spell of possession. But as you see, had just about 29% of it so far this afternoon. Julie, I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but this is a very different approach from South Korea compared to what we saw Thursday night. I at least felt like they were much more aggressive in New Orleans.
Yeah, they were coming out, they were pressing a little bit more. But I also think, as we talked about with this experimentation phase, and when you have a younger team out here tonight, clearly, then you want to stay compact, you want to stay compressed, and keep this game a little bit tighter and closer.
Sofia Huerta up from her right back spot. The cross deflected. Kang Gae has it for South Korea.
The challenge, of course, for South Korea is, can you get then enough numbers on the counter or on the transition to actually try and get something on the board and get back in this game? And we haven't seen much from them on the offensive side as of yet.
So it was that transition where they stung the U.S. in New Orleans. Quick break out of midfield before Han Shae-rin let off a laser of a left-footed blast that beat Alyssa Nair. Nair getting a break today as Ashlyn Harris gets the start in goal. UNC product. Lots of discussion about the U.S. goalkeeping spot since Hope Solo's contract.
And I think it's good that you are giving Ashlyn Harris a little time, and hopefully Jane Campbell gets a little time. I'd like to see Adriana Franch in as well.
Franch, the 2017 NWSL Goalie of the Year. Ernst coming in for a big collision. That's won by Kim Hae-young. Now Jang Sul-gi. Jang Chang. Lee Min-ah, very dangerous player. Park Cho-rung. Lee. Ball clipped over the top. Huerta tried a one-time clearance. She'll get it on the second effort, out for a throw-in.
One of the things in the criticisms in the past was Hope Solo got so many games, right? And then you didn't have that next wave of keeper that had the experience, that had the game. So I think it's important. I know they're turning the page on the experimental phase, but you've got to get some other keepers besides just one some minutes.
Ball cleared into the middle of the park. Jang Sul-gi will win it for South Korea. Jun Gaul. Jun. Lee Gu-min. Lee on the ball. Squaring up 1-on-3. Lee driving to the end line. And good defending there from Casey Short. Goal kick to the United States.
Casey Short, so good. Giving a little cover to Sauerbrunn, and then she's going to step in and just pressure. So good in that 1v1 defending.
To go back real quick to the goalie discussion, Julie. Is Alyssa Nair for you the obvious lockdown #1 right now?
Not yet. No.
Is that a problem as we inch closer to the World Cup?
Not yet. I think it's a problem if we were in this same spot and it's qualifiers of next year, but no, I think it's a process, right? I think that's where I think you have to give French and a couple of those other younger keepers just another look, right? Give them some minutes. They've got now the NWSL under their belt, some more experience.
Williams, again, blazing past South Korean defender. She's picked out Lindsey Horan, but a desperation touch keeps Horan from getting a clean shot on goal.
And again, the pace of Williams, who's just on that right side, having her way. Final pass is a good one. That's been one of the themes there, is that can they find the seams with that final pass? Horan trying to get to that near post seam.
Alex Morgan begging for the ball on the back post. United States already out shooting South Korea 8-1. 8 shots in the first half hour of play. At least 2 of those shots belong to Sam Mewis. He's got the 2 goals, have the U.S. on top. Press with her back to goal. Nice hold-up play. Ertz in trouble. Finds the security blanket of Becky Sauerbrunn. U.S. switching points of attack. Dahlkemper, low driven ball. Cut out by the South Korean back 4. Jang Chan sprays it wide. Jun. Jang Soon-yi. Press applying the pressure. Casey short. Got a great jump on that ball and has earned the free kick for the U.S.
Can hear the sidelines for the United States. I thought I heard from the boom mic them saying get it out to Williams. And in large part, her on that right side having some success, and also on that right side, Park Chorong, the left back there, 1 cap. The left midfielder, 1 cap as well. This is just her 2nd cap for Han Chae-ring.
Of course, you've got Sofia Huerta also pushing up that right flank. Huerta began her international career playing for Mexico. The one-time switch from FIFA to represent the United States. Horan, just beyond the penalty spot, sees her effort blocked. But the high press from the United States pays off yet again. Another turnover deep in their own end from South Korea. All 11 South Korean players within 40, 45 yards of their own end line. Nice combination play. Williams tried to go through to Morgan.
And mind you, no disrespect to South Korea, but it's a good opportunity for the United States to have to play that condensed bunker, that tight defense. As you were mentioning, Sebastian, earlier with Sweden in the quarterfinal of the Olympics, which they just couldn't break down.
They'll also probably see a lot of that in CONCACAF qualifying, right? As
exactly.
Teams sit in and try to minimize the damage that the U.S. can do. Lee with a clever flick, but Sauerbrunn there to break it up. They tried to hit Morgan quick on the counter. Some type of miscommunication there between the U.S. midfield and its forward line. 34 minutes down, the United States up 2-0 on South Korea. Looking for a 2nd straight victory over the South Koreans. United States coming out on top 3-1 Thursday night down in New Orleans. The high pressure again for the United States. This time it's Morgan picking it off to Lynn Williams. Williams one-on-one. Williams can't beat Cho So-yoon. One of the more veteran players in the South Korean 11 steps up at the pivotal moment. The captain making a big stop to keep this from going 3-0. Mewis given time to turn. Right to Morgan. Morgan squaring up against the Korean defense. Kristen press. Press one-on-one press. Golazo! Kristen press. What a bomb! 3-0 United States. 35 minutes in.
And the sign of a true goal scorer. We haven't seen much of Press this game, but given just half a look, and Morgan playing the role of provider a lot in this half, just needed a little bit of a window. She puts a little shimmy on her to get her to bite once left, and then finds that gap, and what a goal that is. Look at that little hip turn, just to freeze the defender for half a second, opens up that window for Press.
What a build-up for the United States. Dahlkemper to Mewis, to Morgan, to Press. Kristen Press's 44th international goal. And again, Julie, it's a goal born of high pressure.
And that, I think, is what Jill Ellis is going to be most pleased about when she goes in at halftime. Yes, you want to be up 3-0 at least when you get in at halftime. But she's going to say, I'm guessing, because this has been a constant theme, is as soon as the United States loses the ball, they want pressure on the ball. And again, that's the beauty of this system with those 3 forwards, is if you can do it right and those 3 forwards can press, and then you get the players in behind you pressing, you're winning the ball and you're attacking third.
Short manages to keep it in. U.S. very calm in tight quarters. Dahlkemper started the attack on the last goal. She may have done it again here. Sofia Huerta. Huerta. Cross tipped out of bounds. Corner kick coming up.
Another look at the goal. Morgan facing up, realizing I'm just going to play provider here. And it's just that little dance move that Press plays. Freezes the freezes the defender. And that's just a great goal.
Plenty of corner kick practice here for the United States. Ball driven to Horan. Horan, the header to the back post. Lynn Williams chases it down. U.S. maintaining possession, keeping the pressure on South Korea. 38th minute. Huerta. Left-footed cross. No receiving targets there for the U.S. Coming up Thursday, November 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN2. We'll have the first of 2 friendlies. The U.S. women's national team will play against Canada. This one's at BC Place in Vancouver. And as always, you can also catch it streaming live on the ESPN app. Friendly might not be the best term to use when the U.S. and Canada square off. Canadian program really coming into its own over the last couple summers.
It's nice to see too that it's garnered such support in Canada as well, domestically for them.
U.S. continuing the high pressure. South Korea able to break it just the second or third time in this half. Jun Gaul. Wide to Jang. Jang Sul-gi, one-on-one this short. Jang, the cross. And Ashlyn Harris with her first real action of the match. All right, coming up at halftime, Julie goes one-on-one with Kelly O'Hara, plus some highlights. Sam Mewis drops a pair.
We actually talk about in the Kelly O'Hara interview that outside back position. We said earlier she took a knock before Thursday night's game, was able to play Thursday night, but I think is feeling that a bit, so they're being precautionary with Kelly O'Hara today.
Another long ball over the top. Press won it for a moment, but John Solgi wins the battle. You mentioned the outside back spot. Obviously an area where Jill Ellis continues to look for final answers. I'm going to bring up a name that might fire some people up on Twitter. She was NWSL Best 11 this year, and she's an outside back with plenty of top-end international experience. Ali Krieger.
Yes, that's one for sure. Megan Klingenberg is another. Taylor Smith is injured right now, not in.
Smith and Tobin Heath.
Not for a lack of options, that's for sure.
Smith and Tobin Heath, two victims of the NWSL Championship final. Julie, I don't know, a physical game doesn't really begin to describe what we saw. It was brutal, really.
Yeah, too brutal.
Was it? Do you think Portland took it too far?
I actually think that I blame the referee. I think she should have gotten a handle on the game earlier. If you put out some early yellows, then that game changes.
Opportunity here for South Korea. Lee Gu-min in one-on-one. Lee Gu-min, the shot! Not today, says Ashlyn Harris. Not today!
Well done by Ashlyn Harris, who hasn't seen much action this game. She retreats, sets her angle, make sure she's cutting that off, and that's a nice save when she's been largely inactive most of the game.
Harris, the 2016 NWSL Goalie of the Year. How about that for some one-on-one defending? Maybe Kristen Press is next in the outside back rotation. I can see you shaking your head, too. Mewis. Boy, she had Williams out there with space to operate. Instead, Cho So-yoon sending it in over the top. Big collision between Short and Jun.
I mean, back to that final game, the thing you hate to see is that 2 minutes in or 3 minutes in, Taylor Smith goes down and has a shoulder injury that takes her out of the game, and of course out of this rotation with the national team. Heath later injured, as you mentioned. So plus, if that's your crowning moment as a league, you don't want a chippy game like that to last for as long as it did, and that's where I think they should have gotten more of a handle on it. Because you're nervous, there's energy and emotion, of course, playing in that game, and it's just easier to blame the referee.
Right. Players win games, coaches lose them, referees ruin them. I don't know who said it, but they were right. I talked to Jill Ellis about it yesterday, and I was like, are you worried about the fact that the NWSL final looked like that? And she said, no, I've seen enough quality soccer in the National Women's Soccer League to know that's not what's happening every day. And the truth is, it doesn't matter what level a final is at. You don't win you don't play a final, you either win it or you lose it. So sometimes being more pragmatic is par for the course. '43rd minute. Halftime quickly approaching in Cary, North Carolina. Sam Mewis opened the scoring in the 3rd minute, added to it in the 20th before Kristen Press made it 3-0 in the 35th. U.S. pushing for more. Dahlkemper. Nice ball over the top. She's found Huerta, who just misses the touch. All lofted into a dangerous spot from Morgan. She'll go 1-on-2 and win another corner, the 7th of the match for the United States. Dahlkemper in the corner kick taker all day for the United States. She make the trip forward to do it again. Haran, header from the penalty spot. Cleared. by Cho. Short to Mewis. Mewis crosses. Jang headed away. Han Chae-rin chasing it down. Short. Big tackle. Wins the ball for Mewis. Now Sauerbrunn. 45th minute. Can the U.S. add to their 3-0 lead? Press tried the flick. South Korea could have a chance for a late counter. Jang Chung with a misplayed pass, and that opens things up for Lynn Williams. Great ball from Sofia Huerta. Williams one-on-one. First time ball in to Morgan, the header. Deflected out for a corner kick. Good marking from Kim Hae-young.
Good run by Alex Morgan to make that near post run. You see often people don't want to make it, dragging half the team with her. I think the next step for the U.S. is to skip out on that near post run and have a second and third layer of runs coming in behind them.
Horan, another one-header, then there it is! Julie Ertz, 4-0 United States. Set piece magic from the Americans.
Horan with the initial header, and she's just trying to keep this alive, keep it on frame, and Ertz there to close it out. And the U.S. has been doing a good job of this all first half, framing around these second balls. And Ertz just always seems to be buzzing in that box.
2 goals from Sam Mewis, one from Kristen Press, one from Julie Ertz. The United States leads 4-0 over South Korea. We take a brief pause. On the other side, a sit-down interview with Kelly O'Hara.